All right, Yogi. So we're going to start in restorative fish posture. Remember, that's the one where you lay on the back, your butt's on the floor. You lay back with the block under your upper back, optional second block under your head. Okay. So if you don't have a block, you could use a pillow. That would also be a softer approach to this. So again, the restorative fish posture, I personally, prefer the block laterally placed, especially if I'm feeling sore. On a good day, I might put the block a little higher. Let's call it like vertically placed along the spine. Okay. Second block again could be behind the first block for your head. On a good day though, I might even let my head go a little lower, even toward the floor. Okay, arms go wide. You could bring the soles of your feet together, let your knees fall apart. Yogis, I can't see you guys, so just make sure your block is underneath your upper back. It's not in the middle back. I teach just to huge groups of people and I say upper back multiple times, but people still have it like in their mid-lower back. It shouldn't be down here. Okay, it's hard to see, but it should be up. It's not underneath your neck either. Okay. So again, if your soles of the feet come together, your knees fall apart. You might have to adjust your spine again on the block. So let's just hang here for another couple minutes. Just start to calm your body and start to connect to your breath. Remember, in yoga, we try to practice, we do breathing practice daily and all throughout your day, really. I do it in my car often. I do it in the morning to kind of wake up. If I'm feeling a little kind of over busy, I'll do it in the evening to kind of calm down. So you're practicing using your breath via whatever intention you're doing. And here it's a little bit more to tune in. Now, I don't start you on the back too much. I tend to only start you on the back in the core class. We kind of know that if you want to start yoga constantly in like a lazy position, you might just want to like sleep in or take a nap, because if your energy is low, the main thing you can do to recharge your energy is moving exercise and resting, right? So I don't start on the back because we're working on like energizing the body. And the body is designed to move, and we want to make sure that this practice is like a maintenance work for the body, not just resting. Anytime you need easier, you can just do it on your own if I'm not teaching it enough, all right? Because I have no gentle yogas on the schedule now. Last few moments, if you're just joining, we're in a restorative fish posture. So if you guys, sorry, a couple of people just came in, we're on our blocks laying on our back. We haven't done that start in a while. It's a really nice start, okay? So the hips are on the floor, the blocks are underneath the chest. But we're about to get out of here, so. Now, please take your time. That's already a good, 3-4 minutes. You'll make your way up off your block slowly using your arms, your core. And it's a good idea to lay on your back just for a moment, just to kind of let the spine reset. I know people do that posture a lot, but you are resting your spine over like a blunt object. And most likely the spine isn't like super warmed up. So it's good to just kind of like let it settle on the floor, bring your knees into your chest. And you just take a few moments down here, kind of circling the knees, straightening the legs, windshield wiping the knees. So this is a big extension to start, right? Because that's the huge spinal extension. Let's call it cow posture in the spine. And then the hips. And now we're going to do the extension of the legs. So it's a really good back body start. So we'll do bridges. Place your feet down behind your sit bones. If you have a block, place it between your thighs, especially if your knees are open in the first stretch. That's kind of an opposite action, engaging your inner thighs now. And then you're going to press through your feet, peel your lower hips, lower back up, and then exhale, lower down. So they call that hip thrust in fitness and bridge, glute bridge and yoga. You're inhaling, lifting your hips up. You can even move your arms here. As you lift your hips, your arms reach up and back. And as you exhale, arms are down by side. Everyone knows this, so I'm not demoing, just so you can look at the screen less. So we're just kind of going up and down in bridges, really turning on our buttocks, our hamstrings, our lower back. All right. So let's do that nice kind of warm up round of bridges. Shouldn't be too intense. Feet should be about block or hips width distance apart. Don't let your feet do anything too odd unless you're lifting your heels intentionally. You're trying to press the big toe down a little bit more here. Last few rounds, please. Some days I'll go like a little faster here, right? It's a little bit more like a pulse. You know, if you always move slow, yogis, you got to watch out for that, right? We know that moving fast, it does affect the neuroplasticity of the brain a lot different. You know, you have a lot of muscle fibers and parts of your muscles that are designed to move fast. So if you always only move slow, you're only activating like parts of your moving brain and muscles. So it's good to like on certain days to move a little faster here and there, okay? Nice job with your bridges. Let's take a little warm-up twist. I'm gonna do the moving one today. Last thing here on the back, knees into the chest, over to the left. Okay, right arm reaches over to the left. It's like you're on your side. Big inhale, right arm up and open. So it's the moving rotational twist. Okay, don't force it, depends on how you're feeling. Inhale, right arm up and open. Exhale, right hand down. I'm just gonna ask you to do about 6 to 10 of these and then switch sides. Connect your breath to your movement, right? You're inhaling up and open. Exhaling down. You can hold it if you want, right? Some days we hold this, some days we move in it. There is the stronger one where the arm traces above the head. So the arm reaches like past the ear and wide. It's almost like an arm circle if you peek up at me now, right? But make sure the twist of the core is the focus. Second side when you're ready, please. It's another thing too, like looking for spaces where we overhold stretches, like this one in particular. You know, now we're learning to move in a space where we kind of overstretch. So it's just a dynamic stretch today. Okay, last few here on your second side. Just notice, yogis, you don't want to be curled into a ball here. You know, you want to be very up, long through your spine as you're doing this. Sometimes you see people in yoga classes, they're kind of curled over like this. You know, long spine. And the deep breath. It's important to remember that we're always trying to lengthen our spine, particularly in like bends, you know, like forward bend, back bend, side bend, twist. The lengthening always precedes and is the foundation of the bend. All right. So that's a very therapeutic exercise. These 3 in a row: the restorative fish, the bridge, and then the rotating movement on your back, all from physical therapy. Fantastic. All right. When you're done, meet back in center. Give yourself one last squeeze if you want a happy baby here. I'm not going to teach much here on the back today to start. Add things if you want, catch up when you're ready. Let's rock forward and back to make our way up to seated. You take a few extra of these if it feels good. So remember, it's kind of like, you know, Hatha Yoga Thursday. Some of these fundamentals, they're all really good, but you know, they can get repetitive, so you can always change them up if you want, okay? We'll meet in tabletop position, yogis. If you need cat-cows, you do that on your own today. You can't go wrong there if you feel like you need it. I do it most days, even if it's just a couple. I want to do the arm extension, the core to elbow, all right? Right leg, left arm, everyone knows this, right? Exhale, knee and elbow. So now we're moving the arms and knee, the arms and legs, where we didn't do too much movement there freely on our back, okay? Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. This one go a little bit stronger. See if you can get to like 6 is the minimum. You're looking to try to get to 12 to 15 on a side. It's the first step into a little bit more strenuous exercise. The first balance. Everyone's looking good. Just make sure you're pressing the whatever leg is down. It was my left foot. You got to really work on pressing that down. If you walk around a yoga room, that left foot here is kind of like hovering, getting lazy. You got to push the top of the left foot down, or tuck your toes. That's okay. We know if you tuck your toes, you get more, the knee is directly down more, so the knee might hurt more. Okay, and then you're just going to basically switch sides. Classic Hatha Yoga, side to side, not sequencing. Okay, so left leg and right arm reach opposites. You inhale. Make sure you're really working on the lengthening as well, the straightening of the back leg, the lengthening through the opposite arm and leg through the spine. Notice as you lift and lengthen, your back might overarch. Pull the belly in, please. Whatever hand is down, grip that hand. You can squeeze a hand against the floor. This is if you're looking for a few exercises, bridge and this to add daily, you can't go wrong, yogis. And you don't have to be warmed up. This is a warm up. And then when you're tired, you just do the leg, right? You don't need to do the arm. And then the next movement is the down dog, your pace, right? We got all regulars. I'm just kind of moving us through our practice here a little bit faster. Nice, yeah, add your own things in. So you find down dog, use it to get into your feet and back of your legs a little bit more. It's that kind of first straight leg stretch, hamstring, back of the body. Shake your head a little, yes and no. Also, you know what to do here. Start to breathe deep. A lot of the yogis talk about how, daily you're on your feet a lot. They're tightening, your ankles are tightening, they're in shoes. And then you got to, every day you stretch them out and loosen them up by moving, pedaling, just because, you're tightening them every day. So you got to also kind of open them up a little every day too. All right. We're going to do something different today, yogis. All right. Pigeon posture. Next position. So it's a classic pose. Right shin goes forward. But remember, yogis, pigeon is classically more like a lunge. All right. It's not the resting pigeon. All right. I want you to see. Actually, if you had blocks, you grab your blocks today. If you don't, you can still use your hands. Be a little bit more tough. But what I want you to do with the right shin forward, crawl the left leg back. Okay, remember that this is just like a cobra. My left leg is crawling back. I'm using my back leg, my hands. Now I bring the top of the foot down if I'd like. I like to keep the back toes tucked though and pull the heel back. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Left hip forward and down. Both hips back and down. Lift the heart, a couple more breaths. Try to press the outer edge of your left foot and shin down. So this is a back bend. So usually a posture you do in the end of class, all right? Okay, now, not gonna have you hold too long. We're gonna keep it moving, all right? Big inhale. Three-legged dog is next. So you bow your chest, you tuck your toes, it's like you press through plank, and then the right leg goes back and up. So now it's the opposite action. The right leg goes up, back, behind, open. Okay, you take a couple breaths here. And then downward dog, we're gonna slowly shift forward to plank, finding your first plank posture. You can either hold plank. Some days I'll hold plank. Some days I'll do push-ups here. It just depends on what I feel like I need. So plank is like sturdy, stiffening, and like locking. If my body moved too much the day before, my body feels, if I was like hurting, I might hold the plank. If I was feeling good, I'd do some push-ups here. I want you to get into like a plank mode where the upper body's really working, the butt engages solidly here, the belly's pulling in. Push-ups are like a moving plank, right? If I was feeling like really good, I might hover a foot, like the right foot in particular here, because it was just the one we were focusing on. So can you do a plank work for me for another good 20 seconds? Yeah, you train until you can't do it, and if you're tired, you do it on the knees. No problem. You can do push-ups on the knees, and they call it half plank on the knees, and that's fine. Okay. Now we're gonna come back to down dog. So I'm not doing the cobra right now because the pigeon's like a cobra. Left shin forward. Okay. And you crawl your right foot back, and you crawl your blocks back. You think of it like a lunge. The outer edge of your left foot is pressing down. Right hip is rolling kind of forward and down, but it's kind of funny because your right hip has to go forward toward the left heel, but your hips are also going back and down, but your right hip's going down to the right heel also. So both hips back, but also the kind of swiveling of the hips. And then lift your chest kind of up away from the hip flexors as the back heel is pulling back. Yeah, a little power pigeon. So press the outer edge of your left shin and foot down. Okay. Couple more breaths here, guys. Try to think of this pigeon pose as strengthener for your legs and a stretch for like your core and the front of your lower abdomen. Okay. You're working here, yogis, right? Like I said, eventually you're working on not using your hands, but it might be a little early for that. There's no reason to force that, okay? You slowly shift more weight into your legs, taking weight out of your hands. Now I want you to take your time, right? If your left side's weaker, you might hold a little bit longer. We'll meet in the three-legged dog with the left leg high. Open up the hip. You take a few breaths here. You can either circle the hip or stretch. It just depends on how you're feeling. If you always do one of them, if you always circle, you might want to be still. If you're always still, you might want to move the hip a little bit more. And then the next round of plank posture. So you can do another round of push-ups. I saw a lot of you doing push-ups. You can do another round of plank, hover the left foot. I think I saw one or two of you doing that. You can also, if you're feeling like super, super good, you could always already do handstand. I start in handstand all the time. It just depends on where you're at and how you're feeling. Um, it's like a plank. It's just a straight arm hold. It's very difficult for a new person, but as you get good at it, you just stack your weight and it's quite easy. It's not like super strenuous. You jump up on the wall is what I really mean. If you're feeling a little tired, again, drop to your knees and your forearms, but something to really strengthen that whole body. All right. Last few moments here. Nice, Brian. There it is. Nice, Leslie. Nice, Stephen. Ooh, a little balance plank. I like that. See, that's like the intermediate practice. It's like, okay, we're around plank area, but what do you feel like doing in there today? What's your body calling for, right? Okay, now listen, we're gonna do full cobra movements today. Okay, so it's kind of like pigeon. We're gonna meet down on the chest. I want you to think, yogis. I most of the time have you do gentle cobra here because you're gonna definitely activate your back when you're down here. I want you to really try to be resilient today and learning to activate your back in full cobra, particularly on the way down. This is back body strengthening, not front body stretching. Okay, big difference. Even though you're going to stretch the front body. Now look, I use my back to lift, and then I use my hands a little, but I try to keep my mind connected to my back engagement. Okay, so up in the top, I'm trying to feel my butt, my lower back, my middle back activate. Listen, I use my back to kind of slow down the lowering down. Does everyone get it? It's subtle, you gotta feel it and slow down. I use my back to lift. I use my hands very little. I still feel my back activating, and then I resist with my back muscles lowering down, okay? So I'm up in here, trying to feel my back engage. This is not an easy thing to kind of instruct and to explain. You got to really, like I said, you're using your hands minimal. You lift up with your back until your hands have to work a little. That helps you get up higher and you can activate your back in spaces you normally don't get to. And then to lower down, it's you're resisting with your back muscles. You're still using your hands to kind of help the back engage. So I hope that's clear. Everyone's looking pretty good. So we're kind of going up and down in Cobra, and just breaking chaturanga down. We did the push-ups, we did dog. Okay, now we're doing the repetitive Cobra. Last few. Does everyone get what we're trying to do today? Yeah. It was one of the biggest game-changing realizations. And I learned it. Luckily, I took anatomy, and the idea is to activate in back bends. It's not what they say in anatomy, but that's how we would translate it into yoga. Activate your back body in back bends. Okay? Unless it's restorative fish or, restorative bridge. All right. No rush. Child pose if you need. Meet and down dog. Let's keep it going, guys. All right. So please take your time. We're going to be back in down dog. A couple of you are already there. We're going to see like half the group there. I just started to start moving forward. Like people who are kind of taking it a little easier, add things in, you catch up. Okay. Down dog. Big inhale. Now we're going to add the big side stretch. It's a very unique kind of special spot here. Feet hips with distance and down dog. Heels lift high. Heels drop right. Remember, it's not really a plank unless you want to do more strength, then that's fine. I'm using it to take the first big side body stretch and shortening. So, all right. So the heels are over on the right. The hips are still kind of lifting up and back, but they can drop to the right as well. So you should feel a big lengthener through your left side body. Okay. Last few moments. There's not a great substitute for this. There is one in tabletop. You walk your hands kind of over to the side in tabletop, or child pose, walk your hands over to the side. Okay, then you come back to center. Nice. Some of you is doing a little side plank and rotational plank. That's cool. If you want more strength than I'm doing, down dog still going to be very strengthening for your upper shoulders, like a shoulder press. Plank will be more difficult. Okay, longer lever weight, longer tension. So you're doing your second side. It's a big, what we call lateral tilt in the pelvis. You're still lengthening through your spine, and your sit bones are still kind of up and back, but then they kind of drop over. So you should feel the stretch in your right side now. Looks good. Nice, Leslie. Feeling good today going on your side plank. Yeah, good days. I don't do side stretch first. I'll do side plank right here. The goal is something for your side body. All right. When you're done, down dog, inhale, bend knees, look forward, hop or step forward. Okay, we're not going to do a sun salutation just yet here, yogis. Take a little inhale, half lift, the Ardha Uttanasana, which is a symmetrical hinge. Okay, and then you exhale, forward fold. You take a breath or two there. Not going to hold you long here. I think this posture is kind of overdone. We did pigeon. We did a lot of down dog. Did a quick child pose, most of us. And then listen, yogis, we got to get the chair in, the squat. All right. So you find your squat pose. Hey, there's Anna. You come to chair posture. Now we're going to work a little squat. If you want to go up and down in your chair, some days I hold chair. Some days I do my little bounce. Some days I lift the knee. Okay. What do your legs feel like they need? A little more movement today? Or do they want to hold? They're feeling good. So some days I'll do like a walking chair, which I mean like I lift one foot and then the other. Some days I'll sidestep in chair. We've done that. Some days I'll step my right foot forward. It's almost like I'm walking forward in chair, right? Again, we have all regulars. So what I'm trying to suggest today in practice is just like, I'm giving you direction, structure, but How can you make this fun for yourself and also challenging for yourself? Cool, creative. So you're working your squatting, your chair area. Okay, last few moments here. Nice. Yeah, some days like I do like a higher chair too. Some days I do the deep squatting chair, right? If you ever hear, there's a lot of context, like which one's better. You ask 100 people, the answer is gonna be very different for everyone, right? You ask that same person in 100 days, it's gonna be very different over time. Um, so that's why I try to get you in a space and then have you like make a choice. Okay. Okay, big inhale and exhale. Let's stand up. Let's just do like 2-3 salutations to get the full body movement now. If you want to do jump backs and forwards, if you want to do sun B, you can. I'm going to keep pretty simple. Sun A. Here we go. Chair posture is the inhale. I want to think full body movements. Exhale is the forward fold. Putting it all together, inhales the half lift. High plank to low plank, chaturanga. Oh, I'm sorry, we are going to do the sun B. Excuse me, sun B. I don't know why I said we're not going to do sun A. Down dog. Inhale, right leg goes high. Exhale, right foot steps forward. Inhale, warrior one or high lunge. Exhale, plant the hands, right foot back, chaturanga. Just like, 2-3 rounds here, guys. I want you to think, can I move my body as full as possible? If you want to add a warrior two, if you want to add a little handstand hop, feel free. If you want to add a chin balance, if you want to add a warrior three already. The goal is to move your body fully up, down, forward, back in a lot of complex ways. Complex full body movement. You need to breathe and move now. You got to move that body, yogis, daily, okay? Then you do your left side in the warrior one. Everyone knows warrior, sun salutations here, okay? So a little less of the just kind of generic instruction. You're working on an inversion, you do extra there. You need the extra leg strength, you pause in your lunges longer or your chair longer. After you do your both lunges, you step back up forward and you do your chair posture and your forward fold and your half lift, okay? Let me give you another minute or two. It's kind of like free flow. In live classes, I try to let you free flow a lot. In the Zoom, I kind of lack that. So I'm trying to do that here, all right? If you had music, you'd turn it up a little bit. Let's do one more minute, yogis, because we're already about halfway through practice, and I want to get to some bigger postures here, all right? Nice, little heel lifted chair, I like that. That's good stuff. You always got to strengthen the toes. Leslie's doing the chair with her heels lifted. That's really good, yogis. We want to make sure we're strengthening our feet. I mentioned opening them up, but if you have to have these isolated moments where you focus on strengthening the feet through the shins and the knees more. In general, you're doing a lot of yoga, your feet are going to be stronger than the average person's, but still looking at direct ways to strengthen the toes more. I like calf raises. I do those all the time where, you kind of either, you're standing up, you kind of lift those heels. Balance is going to be great for strengthening the feet. And we're getting to that next. So yogis, I want you to finish up your last round, last 20 seconds or so, and we're gonna meet in standing. All right. Remember that functional exercise these days is really leaning towards standing. Functional means it kind of helps your normal life, right? It can kind of help you feel, live better. And they, they say most functional exercise is done on the. That's why I don't start in your back as much. It's not as functional. It's a little bit more therapeutic and athletic training. The functional exercise is learning to be on our feet, bending over, squatting, core strength, and back strength. So let's meet in standing, yogis. All right. So we're going to go right into the second, the lunge hold. Pigeon was the first lunge hold. Okay. Left foot steps back. So now it's called the BLT, the bent, the lifting, and the twisting. Hands come in prayer. Bow the chest, elbow outside the thigh. Okay. So we do the nice twist on the back, the moving one. Here's static one. Classic Hatha Yoga. Bend your front knee, straighten your back knee. Turn the chest up to the right. Don't get lazy and too heavy, resting too much weight on the thigh. Okay, you can work on spreading your arms or working a bind if you want to go big. You could drop your back knee, or you can put your hand on the floor if you want to go light. All right, so there's your levels. Just a few more breaths. So we were moving a lot. Now slow down, feel more of the subtle aspects of your body and connect the breath here. And if you wanted to do Revolve Triangle, you could just like kind of straighten your leg, put your hand on the floor here. Again, I'm trying to get you to explore your practice a little bit more because you can't do them all today. I tend to teach the Revolve bent knee and the open hip straight leg. So I tend to avoid more so often Revolve Triangle and open hip side angle. And I do the opposite more so probably like 75% of the time. Okay. So listen, inhale, high lunge, step your back foot forward, boom, step your right foot back, hands in prayer, go really slow, hinge, rotate, right elbow on top of left thigh area. Right to the second side. If you need a break in between, you do it on your own. Now, remember, we're trying to elongate the spine, right? You don't round your spine here. You're trying to actually pull the chest more forward. The head pulls back a little, tongue to the top of the mouth, shoulder blades back and down. Remember the idea, you're trying to put your shoulder blades, your scapulae, in the back pockets of your pants. Breathe. Stretch, but be strong. But don't be too rigid either, like lighten up a little bit. Looks good, everyone. That's what you do. You train until failure. So I'm kind of waiting for a couple of years to stop. And then, I kind of get the cue to move forward. A few years, you're still going. You take your time, all right? High lunge, step back foot forward. It's completely different posture, right? Step your back foot open, triangle pose. Right foot turns open, left foot turns to the right. So if you're in yoga core, we did the moving triangle. Now you hold it. You might want your blocks for this one. Okay, engage your thighs, path of least resistance. Drop your right hip down. Lengthen out. Find your shin block or the floor. But work on, guys, driving the bottom hip forward, leading the upper body back, turning your chest up to the sky. Okay, a couple breaths here. Engage your legs. Lengthen through your core. Remember, we're working towards really not using the hands. This is a spine, pelvic, leg position. Remember that this is the gracilis, right? It's a special stretch, really, that a lot of people are very tight here on the inner back right thigh, all right? It's kind of like a cat-cow in the lateral. It's a really unique release in the body. You know, sometimes you bend over in triangle, you get that kind of pop in your hip. It's that area, okay? When you're ready, second side. Remember in traditional Ashtanga, you're holding about 30 seconds only, all right? Because you're doing the practice regularly. Second side, you're gonna go boom, right to it. You're gonna pivot your feet. You're taking your time though. You drop the left hip down. That's the biggest lateral tilt. We did a lateral tilt warm up earlier, and then you go hinge, lateral movement, lengthener, triangle. Yeah, and if you wanted to do side angle, you bend the knee. Remember I said when we're in a revolve bent over position, if you want to do a straight leg, it's called revolve triangle. Here, we're in triangle. If you want to do the bent knee, it's revolve side angle. The traditional practices where you do all those, they're hour and a half practices or more. So you got to kind of pick one here. Yoga classes keep getting shorter and shorter. The Bay Club asked me if I would teach 25-minute yoga classes. I said no. So what's next? 15-minute yoga class. That could be good though. You wake up at 6 and you do a 15-minute yoga class. Perfect, right? Start your day. All right, listen, guys. So we did the straight leg hinge. You did the rotation of the spine. You did the big lateral. So now we got to do the big strengthener. So you're going to take the goddess today. I'm not going to teach the warrior two. You can if you want, but I want to go the double front knee. This is like our second squatting. You know, you got to get that big rotational quality happening in the hips. And this is how I'm doing it today. You did in pigeon as well, but this is that second big go here. All right, I'm gonna do the big arm release here, just make you hold the legs, and then you boom, your arms go forward. So remember guys, the right wrist goes on top, okay? So your right wrist is on top, you turn your palms down, and then you intertwine your fingers here, you're in goddess, right? And then you bring the hands underneath, get low in those legs, and you go forward. Remember, this is one of the original tapas, right? I don't teach this enough, it's really good stuff. And then boom, you go back. See how the palms stay together though? So a lot of people get the palms separating. You're trying to keep your palms stay together to the best of your ability. Sit low in those legs though, guys. That's the main goal. The arms are secondary. You can also do things like lift your heels, lift one heel. You can pulse here in the legs, but you don't be too busy now. Last few moments. Just to be clear, you're going to get a rest between the second side. So sit low. You got to blast your legs. Blast isn't a real yoga term, but in yoga, they would say find peak intensity in the legs. Intensity is the word they use. Okay? All right, looks like some of you are done. Now listen, straighten your legs, turn your toes parallel. Bring your hands behind your lower back, intertwine your fingers. If you're gonna do headstand, you do that instead. Big inhale, lift your chest. It's called straddle forward fold. Okay, so you're reaching for your head for the floor between your feet. Your weight's in your toes now. Whereas in goddess, it's more in the heels, on the outer edge of the feet. Now you're pressing the big toe down more. Forward folding. Looks good. Headstanders, handstanders, you go upside down. You can also, like, if your hands are on the floor, you could pull on the floor or crawl your hands and you pull on the feet or the ankles. Nice, Brian. Try to get those legs up a little higher. There you go, a little higher. Yeah, sometimes the legs will kind of hang over the arms more. It's really heavy headstand. You have to work too hard. All about stacking that weight and make it a lot easier on your body. That's what stinks. It's like the beginners headstands, you know, they're like the way they're stacked and doing it with the arms and the weight of the legs, they're working like so hard, it's like way more risky, you know, and it like hurts way more. But then, you know, you get good at it and your legs are stacked over your body. It's just like really easy. So you got to get over that kind of initial real difficulty. So we got to do one more strong leg thing here. We got 2 more poses after this in standing, then we got to get down to the ground, all right? So listen, it's goddess again, or Utka Konasana, angled chair, the widest squat you got. It's called Sumo Squat in fitness. You get in your stance, so your feet go wide, you bend the knees deep. You got to press the outer edges of your feet down. It's like you're trying to, imagine I was behind you, and I'm trying to push your knees inward together, and you're pushing against me. Does everyone get that? Okay, and then you reach your arms forward, and your left wrist is on top, because this will take your distraction off your awareness kind of off your legs for a moment. And you engage your fingers like that, and then you bring the hands down and under and forward. You're gonna feel super wrist stretch in the left arm, hopefully. Get in those legs, work, breathe. Remember, it's like I'm behind you and I'm pushing your legs, like trying to cave your knees in, but you're pushing your legs back and open into me, resisting that push. Does that make sense? You know how frog pose uses the floor to open your knees more? It's the same thing, except you're doing it active now. It's a reciprocal inhibition of the bilateral adductor magnus. All right, look, yeah, it looks like everyone's still going. Everyone I can see is still going, so we'll still go. I don't want to tell you my secret, but when I see, I said it earlier, when I see a lot of you stop, I kind of move forward. Now you all stop. Okay. A little forward bend if you want. You can go second round. I'm not going to do this one as long, guys, because we're getting low on time here. But the fingers go behind you. You roll the shoulders back, and then you go up and over one more time. You can't go wrong when you do that stretch a lot. It's called Sushumna in yoga. There's a lot of different names, but arms behind you. If you want to step your feet closer or wider, that's cool too. Last moments here. So yogis, we're gonna meet standing, step your feet together. I wanna do something a little different today. It's a hip opener. We did the pigeon earlier, we're prepped. I wanna do the standing half lotus. Just to be clear, it's the beginner posture. Stand up, squeeze your butt, lift your heart. Left knee's gonna lift. It's like you're doing tree. Look, I seal the heel. The knee joint has to close. So I'm not out here, okay? The heel is up on the inner thigh. The right hand takes the left foot, right? And now watch, the left foot goes to the front of the right thigh hip. And then look at this, the right hand grabs the top of the left foot. The left knee open. See the knee joint still closed? I'm holding the foot. I want to work on standing up here, guys, okay? You could do a little half prayer. If you can push the foot so strong that it doesn't slide down, you can bring both hands here, okay, or even up. But if the foot slides, you hold it. You push your hips a little bit more forward, you let the knee open up back more. Last 3 breaths. Remember that this is pigeon, right? This. And all we're doing is going like that. It's like an extension, maybe subtle external rotation quality from the pigeon. Okay, yeah, and then you can switch sides. Just go slow. Remember, it's a lot safer if you keep the knee joint closed, which means bringing the heel all the way to the back of the thigh to the best of your ability. It's like tree. If you keep the knee joint open, you can injure the knee. It tends to be a lot more like restricted. So the right foot is up on the left front. It starts on the thigh, it's down here, but then it goes up on the hip. Okay, so again, you seal the knee, you close the knee, you bring it over, you lift it up slowly, and then you let the right knee open up as it moves down in space. Okay? Couple more breaths. So listen, yogis, I want you to finish that up. And for our final standing balance here, I want to think creative yoga today, all right? I want you to think of balance postures. Tree, standing chair. Eagle, standing knee lift, standing straight. Half moon, revolve half moon, standing splits. And I want you to kind of do a dance. So what I'm going to do is about 1.5 minutes per side. Listen, lift your left knee up. And I want you to get creative here. Do you need to just hold? Simple. You hold here, you hold here. But maybe you start to go back through your warrior three, and then you come up, you do your chair, the angled chair, and then you come back, you do your revolve moon, and then you come back up, you do your eagle. Maybe you swing it around, you do your half moon. Maybe you stand up, you do a toe bind. So I'm asking you to get on your right foot and explore in the practice. So I'm trying to purposely give you less direction, mention a lot of things. What's kind of resonating with you today? And I'm trying to get you to move moving balance. We've been holding positions pretty sturdy the last few minutes. Let's get moving a little bit. Remember the full complex body movements? Can you do it on one leg? Challenge that coordination, balance, and proprioception. Looks good, everyone there. Yeah, I mean, you want to go huge. You do like a pistol squat. You do a one-legged chair, basically. Okay. Nice, Leslie, using the wobble board. Yeah, like, simple would just be like warrior three standing. We do that a lot. A little bit more challenging, we've done this one. Look, it's like standing posture, half moon, standing posture, half moon, standing posture. Or you go down to warrior three, you go to half moon, warrior three, half moon, revolve moon. We've done that. Or the big kind of circling of the leg to half moon. The dynamic balance where you're kind of really moving here like, a dance. Get on one leg and work that body. Okay? But we're getting low on time here, yogis. So let's do the second side. That's a good 1.5, 2 minutes probably there already. And then you do that left side. Now remember, my left leg, my balance a little, not as good, slightly. So I would work that left foot a little bit more. It's going to be more challenging. I have to think more about it. So get into that left side. Try to do it in a way where you're almost falling here and there too, because that's really good for you. It's weird, but when you're like working with people who have really bad balance, it's like, it's like we have to find a way to make them like fall and be uncomfortable like the whole time. And they usually don't like that at all. But the balance is key, and to be on the edge where you're really uncomfortable and falling out of it is the most important part. Basically, the idea is like what challenges you most will change you the most or make you grow the fastest. There's a term that I mentioned before. It's called like critical brain state. They basically say it's like when you're really uncomfortable, almost like scared slightly, where they use the example of falling. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're falling, all brain fires in one direction to solve that problem. Your whole brain like fires together in one direction. Whereas a lot of times, you're doing this and the mind's doing that, and you're over here trying to multitask. So last 30 seconds here on your left foot. Nice. Standing bow is a great one. And the squatting warrior threes or squatting half moons. Again, moving in positions you don't move enough in. I see that a lot. Like I go to For years, I specialized in trying to go to as many teachers as possible. I moved to LA, I drive to Hollywood and, Beverly Hills and Santa Monica, every day from Redondo to just take all these different teachers, see what LA's got as far as yoga. And unfortunately, you see these everyone's following the common narrative of how you should do yoga. And then they get locked in this little box of what they're teaching. And you see their students, they're all like very limited and very similar level, and they can't do much outside of it. And I made a commitment years ago to like not let that happen, to recognize my patterns and to make sure we're well rounded and keep exploring and growing. So that's what we're doing right now, is taking everything you do in class, but just kind of being free with it, right? All right, guys, listen. We'll make our way down to the ground. That's your balance right there, okay? Your feet, you can do Yogi Squat. I'm gonna hit your abs once. Then we're gonna do one last weight bearing on the arms. If you got wheel, reverse plank, that's the big one, okay? Yogi Squat, if you have it, think of it like a child posture. If you wanna do crow, you go for it. Now it's the same thing. It's like, I want to do an abdominal exercise. You didn't really do much in the abs, a little bit, but nothing that's going to isolate them well. Okay? So I like to lay on the back. If I was going to do abs, I might be here doing a few of these. I might do here doing a few of these. I might do here a few of these. Too many choices? You can't do all of them. They're all great. Which one do you need? I might do a little twist. Again, I like the leg swing. I might hold. Can you get into your abs one strong time until they fail? Training till failure. No rush if you're still doing, your Yogi Squat or your crow. Like I tried to mention, holding planks is you could say it's good for core, right? But it's not really that great for like abdominals, especially the way you see most people doing them. You got to be really resilient in the plank. Pull your belly in, lengthen your side by, squeeze your butt. And if you're not doing any of that, you're barely getting any core. It's like straining and tension of muscles, most likely your psoas. And then you come here, and then it's like one of the best places to really hit your abs. You can feel it. All right. Now, listen, yogis, I want to do the traditional finish here is the wheel posture or the reverse plank. If you want to sit up and do your up table, it's like one weight bearing on the arms. It hasn't been a super heavy weight bearing class for your arms. So like doing the wheel here is good, or sitting up doing up table. Ideally, it's like an active back bend. A little extra focus on that today. Remember, I keep trying to get this idea like strengthen your back. All right, so wheel, up table. If you need bridge, that's okay. You can do a one-legged bridge, okay? If you're done, you just do restorative bridge. I'm not gonna, judge you. You did a lot already. So can we take another like 2 minutes to do like 2 to 3 rounds of strong back bends? Go for it. Nice, Steven. Nice, Leslie. Little lifted bridge there. Looks like, Brian, you're setting up for the wheel. Let's do it here. Nice, Kathy. Wheel's an intense posture. You can't do wheel, you come up and you do up table. Ooh, nice, Anna. I can see you all working hard today. Come on, let's keep it going. This is the end, Yogi. So I don't think it was too difficult of a practice today, right? Moderate difficulty, not super strong. So you have a little energy left in the gas tank to go big here. Sometimes I think class is not that easy, and then people say it was really not that difficult, and some people are like, no, that was super difficult. And sometimes I think it's like super difficult. People are like, no, it wasn't bad. I think you can make anything really difficult if you keep pushing it. And you can make anything easier if you're just backing off that day, right? Come on, one more. Come on now. Nice, Brian. Nice, Steve. You're still going. Nice, Anna. Last minute here. And we're just gonna take like a stretch or two, and then we're gonna be done. All right. So it looks like one person, two people still going. You know, the next little krama of the class, the next layer is a releasing. You're not quite completely inactive yet. You know, you're kind of bridging the gap between shavasana and active exercise, so half active. And then, you know, we already did pigeon. You don't need to go there. You did the straddle forward fold twice and the triangle. You're done with hamstrings and inner thighs. So I would think front thigh actually. So I would roll onto my side here and maybe reach my top hand back, grab my top foot, kind of like a bow behind it. Another nice one might be the medial rotation. So just in case you forget what I'm talking about here, you kind of roll onto the side and you go here. To kind of stretch through the thigh, okay, the quadricep it's called. Just don't arch your back if you're doing this one. The other one that I was mentioning here was that medial rotator, where the knee is not right and the right foot goes on the outer left knee. That's a good one because we did the goddess. They're both going to be medial slightly, right? Any other hip opener is fine if you want to come up and do Virasana or frog or you know, generally the way I pick a stretch in the end is to just think like, what didn't we do? What actions are we lacking or what did we overstrain? You can release those. And I think we're lacking the front thigh stretch if we think stretch. And if we overstrained anything, it might be the lateral rotation, goddess, and then triangles, deep lateral rotation, okay? All the balance is on the hip as well. So that's the medial, all right? So you're gonna do your second side when you're ready. Remember, like people, you can do restorative bridge too. That's not commonly thought of as a hip opener, but it definitely is. You get pressure in the sacrum and the lengthening of the hip flexor. So you can do that too. So a lot of times in yoga, they say a release for your hips and legs and a release for your spine and let's say core. All right, so you do your hip stretch here, another couple breaths, and then you think about one more final release. If you didn't get your legs up and you want to do that, like legs up the wall, if you wanted to do a plow, if you wanted to go big, you swing your legs up over your body. If you feel like you need another twist, that's fine. You could sit up or do another one here on your back, okay? If you feel like you want to go big, you got shoulder stand from your plow. You could always add an inversion here. So we're going to take about another like minute here or so. Final pose, minute and a half. And then we'll just do a short closing meditation together, okay? So just our objective now is to calm our nerves, slow our heart rate, kind of cool the body down. So you eventually you just get comfortable. If you're still working, you take your time, you do it whenever you need to. You just get comfortable and you relax and you let go. Remember that there's no deep breathing in Shavasana really. We're trying to slow the breath rate. All right. So you need a breath or two to get in. You take a deep inhale, a deep exhale, but then your abdomen relaxes, your jaw, your tongue, your eyes all relax, and you just melt into the floor. All right. So closing meditation here, yogis. Nice job today. Good 3 minutes.